Some people don't know how to introduce themselves, especially in the face of a prospective lover. And when you tell them to sit down and listen to what you're going to tell them so that they can introduce themselves better, they don't want to, because maybe they think they know everything. However, to be informed is to be transformed, and to be uninformed is to be deformed. I believe that the more enlightened you are on any subject matter, the greater the level of command you gain. Okay? So to be informed is to be transformed. Listen carefully. When you meet a lover, a prospective lover, the manner in which you introduce yourself is very important in setting the basis of a conversation. It's very important in helping you guide the conversation. It's also a determinant on whether or not that relationship will proceed, or even the marriage will see the light of day. However, some people ignore the basic facts of a good introduction. They walk straight into it with gumboots, and then they keep on blaming the devil and any other constant factor for their failure. But now you have the free lesson. So, how do you introduce yourself successfully? In case you are watching this podcast for the very first time, this is Jengo Njero. Here we help men and women to get matches. We connect both of them, men and women, for the sake of marriage. So if you're new here, consider subscribing if this is the kind of podcast that interests you. Now, how do you introduce yourself? I want to start by something that brings a bone of contention, especially when women have children. And I have seen women arguing that their children come first. While that might remain true, it might not be true all the time. Just like the kingdom of God. You all know that the kingdom of God is a compendium of limitless possibilities. All things are possible, but not under every condition. So, in every condition, you introduce a new constant. In every condition, you bring in factors that are going to balance the equation. So, how do you balance when you have children and you want to introduce yourself successfully so that you don't come out pushy, you don't come out as cocky, you don't come out as somebody who is manipulative and controlling, or a user, if you may? So, how do you introduce yourself? Now, there was a time I made a post on my official Facebook page, and I said that you should never hide your children. In fact, it's unethical, immoral, it is unbecoming, belligerent. It is not the character of a parent to hide their children, isn't it? Yeah, as a parent, you cannot hide your children. Can you? Can you? It's very immoral. However, it reaches a point where you're able to balance between coming out as a person who wants to get a person to take care of their children and a person who is looking for a lover for the sake of marriage. All of us know that, irrespective of the ages of children, those children will leave the nest at some point. To leave the nest means those children will chart their own paths. They will go for higher learning. Some of them will go to colleges, others will get married, others will go to their job opportunities. So, if you get married and you have children and you still meet children in that home, chances are very high that those children will leave that nest sooner than later. So, everyone is aware of that fact. If you're a woman and you're watching this, I want you to be very keen, especially in the area of introduction, so that next time you get a prospective lover, that man will not come back to us saying, I think that woman wanted somebody to raise her kids. I think that woman wanted somebody who will just take care of the bills. So, are you there? Take a pen and paper. Number one, let that date be guided by the conversation of who you are as a person and who the other person is. I want you to be very keen, because on that date, it is not children that are getting married. It is not your children as a woman. It is not his children as a man. So the issue of children is a bonus. Okay, some can argue on the demerits and the merits of the same in terms of burdens and bills, but again, we are not here to discuss children. We are here to discuss the marriage. And when the children are mentioned, these children should be coming as by the ways. By the way, kuna watoto wangapi? By the way, do you have children? By the way, would you want to add more? So that that conversation can start with the first things first. That conversation has begun with who you are as a person, where you come from, what you do for a living, and things like that. So by the time you're coming to the number of children you have not come out as cocky, as manipulative, as somebody whose only goal is to have those children raised. Now, compare that to somebody who comes on the date and the first thing they sip tea and or coffee, whatever they sip, and the next thing they are like, you know, I have 4 children, so you should man up. This is a woman. Suppose you are a man, you went on a date with these 2 women. The first one allowed you to listen to him, to her, I mean, you listened to her, she listened to you. You talked on things that mattered. As a person, what do you like? What kind of a partner would you want? Now you come to the children. Now compare that one with somebody who has just appeared on the date. And after sipping tea, the next conversation is na ujue niko na watoto wanne ama wawili, the number of children notwithstanding, na ujue sasa wewe ndio utawatekea fees. Uko na uwezo, uko na kazi kwanza, uko na kazi, uko na uwezo. Na ujue watoto saa hii ni teenager ndio wanakula vizuri. Who doesn't know that? Of course people know that. But when we tell you do this, usiende hivi, you don't want to listen. Usiende hivi, usiongee hivi, usipeleke sana, utaharibu. Why? Because at the end of the day, you need to balance. The art of communication is a very important art that should be mastered by everyone, including businessmen and people who want to get married. Because see, to get married to somebody is highly dependent on your capacity to convince. And you cannot convince me on red flags and green flags, then and expect me to entangle myself with you. It cannot happen, not in this molecular world. Okay? So, when it comes to matters of children, it is good to introduce yourself. You are the one getting married. And then we go to the issue of children. Let that person appreciate you as a person first, as a prospective marriage partner, and then we go to children. Okay? And then, I don't know who told women that children are a burden. Most of the men I've met on the show don't even have a problem with children. They don't. But the manner in which women approach them is one thing. Because there is no way you're going to tell me, na ujue niko na watoto watatu, kwa hivyo ujikaza mshipi. And you expect me to just relax like that. And there are so many people who are doing better approaches. So please be informed before you get deformed. So that you don't keep on approaching people and you don't understand why people are rejecting your offer. So it's very important. Same case applies to men. Sometimes it is not your job that is on interview. And I have told men countless times, your confidence is your currency. It is not a matter of what you do for a living. No, it is who you are as a person that is getting married. Is the one that is married. Women get married to confidence. And you see, you find somebody who is like, na ujue saa hii, naona tukifutwa. You're already selling fear instead of hope. And as a man, you should always sell confidence, the prevailing circumstances notwithstanding. Are we together? So I would want people to get the best approach. Confidence is very important. The number of children, economic status notwithstanding. Because this show is not for rich people. This show is not for poor people. This show is for everyone. And we must benefit at the end of the day. Are we together, ladies and gentlemen? So are you ready for such podcasts? What do you think? Which other way do you think is best in making interest? So an impression is very important, especially if it's the first time. So knowing how to make first time impressions is paramount. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.